So today we're going to be doing another episode in the series of the Triple B variety. So if you don't know what that stands for, that's basic beginner bullshit. Now again, a lot of people tend to dismiss these easier tricks because apparently they're advanced magicians and they're too good for this sort of shit. But fuck them, there's a good trick. And as my grandfather said, just because it's not hard doesn't mean you shouldn't try to fuck it. So this is going to be a card trick. No shocker there. So for this, you could really use any sort of deck you want. We're going to be using these Civil War cards because apparently I don't like money. So that's why I keep buying these bullshit cards. So this deck is shuffled, and this is actually going to be a counting trick. So you have the spectator count 10 cards onto your hand. In this case, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At this point, you ask the spectator, how are they sure that there are actually 10 cards there? Of course, they're going to respond with whatever way they deem reasonable. If they're actually autistic, they're not going to be able to respond in any sort of way at all. So you wonder why you're doing a trick for them in the first place. But assuming you do have competent spectators, you say, oh, well, I have a foolproof technique that could allow you to know exactly how many cards you're holding that they do in Las Vegas. So we're going to go over this process that you're going to do yourself. So you're just going to take the top card, make sure that's only one card, and put it face down in the bottom. You're going to do this for all the cards. So that's 2, that's 3. You give this to the spectator, and they themselves count it. That's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, and that's 10, which means that they're holding a grand total of 10 cards. Holy shit, kill me. So these cards get put at wherever they want. They could put it in their ass, they can sit on it, they could hide it somewhere. You could really ham up the banter at this point. But you show the perfectly ordinary deck and you ask them to call stop wherever they want. Let's say they stop there and you say, great, the 3. That's fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to get 3 cards to magically transfer from this side to the pile that you have, wherever it is that you have. So we go for a little magical move right here. That's 1. Did you feel anything? No? All right, we'll do it again. Give it the old college try. Second one? No? You didn't feel anything? Really? All right. How about one more? Magical. Fantastic. So at this point, you show your hands empty. You ask for the spectator to give you the cards that they've been holding this entire time. And when they count it, they're going to find that they no longer just have 10 cards. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, that's 10, that's 11, that's 12, that's 13 playing cards. Unbelievably so. Even though they were holding on to those cards the entire time, you actually managed to transfer 3 cards from the deck to their hand. And if you have a spectator that might be a little bit of an asshole, as we like to say in the business, you could tell them, hey, do me a favor, put that in your pocket again. They put it in their pocket again. You could go to some sort of magical whatever gesture you want, and you say, how about you count them again? And this time when they count the cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They now have 3 more fucking cards. At this point, if they're not coming all over the place, then you've done something wrong. So if you guys haven't recognized this is the classic version of cards across. But this method, assuming you don't do the last bit at the end because you don't have an asshole spectator, is a no palm method. Most of the methods that I've seen involve palming cards, which I cannot stand because I have these little small fuck you hands. So the only palms that I'm relegated to are the Tenkai palms. So because of that, this method doesn't use any palming. And it's really not that hard to do. So first things first, you have the spectator count out 10 cards, or you count 10 cards onto the hand of the spectator. That was a test. If you could in fact count to 10, then you could definitely keep watching my videos. If you do not have the ability to have counted to 10 for this, then I suggest you stop watching these videos. I don't know how the f you found this, but you should stop. Pick up a book. So when the spectator has these 10 cards in their hand, you ask them if they are 100% sure that they are in fact holding 10 cards. At this point, I like to spread off a couple cards. In this case, I'll spread off 3, square this up, and maintain a break. Of course, you're doing this to yourself. You're not displaying it to the spectators. So you're maintaining a break below the 3rd card. And you ask them if they are 100% sure that they have 10 cards in their hand. They might say whatever answer. They might but you tell them, oh, well, I'm going to show you a guaranteed method. You take the cards back at this point. A guaranteed method to know exactly how many cards you're holding that they do in Las Vegas. They don't do this shit in Las Vegas. I've never seen anyone do this shit. But they're not going to know that because, again, they're slightly retarded. So at this point, you take the 10 cards back. You just square it up on the top of the deck, getting the 3 cards below. Square this up, and then put the deck down. And you're going to show them what you're going to do before they do it. So you take the top card, turn it face down, and put it underneath. If they are a particularly retarded group, you take the second card, turn it face down, and put it underneath, and then hand it to them. That way, they have the procedure down pat. So what's going on, if you haven't figured it out by now, is that because you're adding the 3 cards on the bottom, when they count, they're just going to count the top 10 face-up cards, as opposed to the other 3 cards which have been hidden underneath. So by the time they get to the first face-down card, that card is actually the original cards that you snuck underneath. So let me explain that to the people from West Germany and the people from Italy. So we're just going to go through this one more time. When you sneak these cards underneath, they don't know you have these cards underneath. So when you start turning these over face down and counting them, it's going to miscount them as 10. So that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, and that's 10. They think they're 10. There's actually 13 because of that wonderful principle. First time I saw that was in a Paul Harris book. So if that's his, more power to him. If that's not his, then I don't know who the fuck did it, but that's a wonderful principle. So the spectator is now holding what they think is 10 cards, but in reality, it's 13 cards if your math is correct. So at this point, what I like to do is show the spectator that the deck is actually fair. At this point, what I'm actually doing is looking for a 3. It could be any 3 in the middle. We'll go for this one over here, the 3 of clubs. You are getting a pinky break as you square up the deck right above that 3 of clubs in preparation for the dribble force. So I know a lot of people hear dribble force and they might lose their shit because it never works for them or their timing's off. For this, it doesn't matter. So you transfer this to a thumb break, and what's going to happen is that you're going to dribble to the break and hope that they say stop when it hits the 3 of clubs. So again, you're maintaining a break. You have them call stop as you dribble the cards. When they do say stop, if they happen to say it prematurely, just like a premature ejaculation, what happens is that you just drop all the cards. That's it. So let's say they stop here. I'll do it in real time. Stop. I just drop all of them. Let's say they say stop. You just fucking drop it. Stop. So it really doesn't matter. The only thing you want to avoid is if they say stop past your break, of which case you remind them, hey, how about you wait till I fucking actually go inside the cards, you dumb motherfucker. And then I reestablish the break at that point and then try to repeat the force. If the force doesn't work a 3rd time, then I'll just reach for a random card and say, you know what, since you're not helping me out here, we'll just go for a random card. How about an ace? You know what? Let's just go for the 3. We'll go for the 3. Are you happy with the 3? Good. You don't have a fucking choice. So after this point, you have forced the 3. You say that you're going to make 3 cards magically travel from this deck to, unbelievably so, the cards that they're holding. They're not going to believe you. So you make whatever magical gesture at this point. I've read in some other magic books that at this point they pretend to get 3 cards and they make them disappear one at a time. I don't bother with this because this is way too complicated. But I have seen this in the original Paul Harris version. And then by the time they get to the last card, they have to do some weird or whatever. Either way, this method doesn't require any sort of major sleight of hand. You're just making 3 magical passes, however it is that you want. And then at this point, when you're done with that, they reach in and they count the 13 cards that have now been magically transported from the deck to the cards that they have been holding, supposedly the entire time. Now, if you want to do the additional phase, which I tend to always prepare, even though the situation doesn't necessarily arise. So what I mean by that is they've just counted the 13 cards. They supposedly have some sort of mess on the table because, again, spectators don't know how to deal neatly. It's a common fact. They don't know how to deal in a nice, neat, organized pile, which is going to work to your advantage because what you're going to do is while they're dealing, you are going to And I say palm very loosely. You're going to grab 3 cards and put them in your hand. It doesn't matter if you know how to palm. It doesn't matter if you're crap at palming. You're just grabbing 3 cards from the top of the deck and you're just putting them in your hand, just like that. And this hand just goes to your side. That you're not really palming that. You're just holding it. So when they're done counting, they're going to be amazed. So what you say is, as you're depositing these cards onto this pile here, you're going to do it in a gesture that is to say, hey, how about you put these back in your pocket or up your ass or in your dick hole or in your urethra, wherever it is that they had these cards. You're going to tell them to put it back there. As you do that, you are sneaking the 3 cards in your palm. Again, there's not a displacement. It's not a Ed Marlowe, Di Vernon technique for sneaking the cards in a sneaky fashion. You're doing this pretty much. You're grabbing 3 cards and putting it. That's all you're doing. There's no technique to that. So one more time, they've just dealt this nice pile on the table. You put these cards in your hand here, and you tell them, oh, hey, how about you put those back where you got them? They, of course, put this back in their pocket or wherever it is that they put them initially, and you say, oh, I can do that again. Or, better yet, wait for them to request for you to do it again. Make the magical pass again, however it is that you want. They check, and whereas they thought that they now had 13 cards, they have 16 fucking cards. So that is pretty much a mind blower, if anything. So this trick usually, again, requires palms. This version doesn't necessarily require that palm because that last phase is optional. Usually the first phase is enough. But so many times is a situation where they might say, hey, do it again. And if that's the case, you want to be prepared regardless. So I'll just have these cards. I'll add the cards to the pile regardless, even if they don't necessarily ask me. So they have 16 cards. If I'm in a particular mood where I took some sort of amphetamine in the morning and they don't ask me, I'll bring it up casually and say, oh, do you want me to do it again? And in which case, most of the time they do say yes. If they say no, then fuck them, take out a gun and shoot them right in their fucking face at that point. But that's a good trick. It's really a good version of cards across. I recommend to give it the practice that it deserves. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you didn't, go fuck yourself. Really. Really. Get your dick, try to stretch it, and go fuck yourself because I don't need that shit. But thanks for watching.
When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.